Yo, what's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Etheria Restart. Now, we can officially see Plume and Hizuki in game for the very first time. This is actually a pretty big deal because we can actually see what the investment's gonna look like. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and dive into it because I'm actually pretty excited. Plume, dude, let's just take a moment to take it all in. This character, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really do like her design a lot. Like even like the extra like outer accessories and stuff like that, they did a really good job designing this character. So I'm hoping that like with the skin and whatever it is that they're planning on doing, it actually does give some like extra pizzazz, right? Now, when we're looking at this character's skills, this character is just nuts, and like in all honesty. But looking at her very first skill here, which is going to be the Feather Fire, we have a Plume summons fire or Feather Fire, dealing 200% damage to all enemies, which is nuts in a skill 1, by the way, with a 100% chance to inflict 1 stack of Curse Quill. Now, the thing is that her skill ups here is damage increases, damage boost of the Curse Quill, and the Curse Quill speed reduction effect being increased to 3 points. Now, the thing is that the skill 1, for what it's worth, is actually directly affecting the passive effect primarily, right? It does affect the AoE of the skill 1, but it's primarily affecting her passive, which I would argue, considering that this is something that's able to stack. I mean, it stacks up to 10 times, guys. Like, that's pretty insane anyway. But I will say that at 10 stacks, that's 60% damage, right? At 10 stacks, that's 30 speed. That's quite a bit at max. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like really for you to get the most out of her, you're gonna want that. Like there's really no reason why you wouldn't want to capitalize off of that, because that's just gonna give you the most able opportunity to like kill things or make things rotate slower. 30 speed reduction. And then we got to talk about something, and this is why I say it's like kind of important, is because when we go into the passive here, one thing that it says with the Curse Quill, which is kind of insane, right, is that this effect cannot be purified or transferred. Like, what? Like, that is insanity. So it goes to say with the passive, beautiful feathers often hide danger whenever an Animus uses an active skill or triggers a passive skill. For every 1 debuff inflicted to the enemy unit, there's a 100% chance to inflict an extra stack of Curse Quill. Animuses except Plume can stack up to 1 times per skill. And after each enemy unit's action and Plume increases all allies' turn meter by 8%. Now, what you're getting from here is the Curse Quill application chance increased to 75% chance. And then at level 5, it goes up to 100. Level 4 is going to be giving you 8% on the turn meter, and level 2 is going to be giving you 6.5%. Now, the thing is that this is also another skill I think you're going to want that investment in, because the more that you have that like turn meter push higher, the more value you get after your enemies go, right? There's no reason why you wouldn't want that, in my opinion. I would say that you're absolutely going to want that. And then the chances of you like stacking the Curse Quill is going to be definitely something to consider based off of like what type of units you're using, because it says it can stack up to 1 times per skill, not 1 times per turn, right? So the thing is that there's some units that can grant themselves like extra turns, and there's like already units that I already see people about to like manipulate the crap out of this ability, but there's definitely units that you can manipulate that a lot more. And so I feel like if you have it to where it has a higher proc chance, you're just going to build it up much quicker. And I think the goal ultimately is really to get it to max stacks, right? Like if you can, I mean, even getting it to half is crazy, but getting it to max is just, is going to put you in the most craziest setup, right? So I feel like that's like another thing too with the Curse Quill, and just having that increased chance is just going to make it much more consistent, right? Because then going up to 100, like I said, 100% chance is nuts. That's like guaranteeing that no matter what, it's going down. Now going into the last skill here, Flame Dance, you have 3 hits of 110% damage to all enemies. Each hit has a 45% chance to dispel 1 buff effect from the target and a 45% chance to apply defense down for 2 turns, and weakness for 2 turns. Now, the Dispel chance being increased up to 45% is going to be the very first skill. Weakness duration to 2 turns, chance to apply a defense down, and weakness increased to 45% and reducing the skill cooldown by 1 turn. I will say that I feel like, again, weakness is going to be very, very strong because this is the first unit with this specific debuff. Reducing damage dealt by 25% is going to be huge against cleave, if we're being honest, and even just bosses that hit extremely hard. So when we're talking about 45% chance, that's definitely going to be a much higher interval. I mean, it is 3 hits, so you don't have to go so crazy. Like, you're going to hit the capacity basically of like what you'll basically be able to like have as far as your highest chance of like actually landing this. So I feel like for me, this is a skill you absolutely want to invest in. And I'm going to assume that each hit is probably going to be at like 20 something percent, 25% before the investment. So that's going to be something you probably are going to want to have skilled up too. So that on top of the reduction of the skill cooldown, being able to reapply the defense break and the weakness. I mean, even with the weakness duration, it's like you want that to actually be able to last for 2 turns. Because if it's at 1 turn, then the enemy goes and then it's gone, right? So it's kind of like it's a little redundant at that point. Like, you're not really getting the most value. So you at least need to have that at level 3. So it's definitely a lot of investment that's going to go into this character. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't see there not being a lot of investment. Like, can you possibly use her at 1/1/1? Yeah, sure. If you're much earlier in the game, but I think at this point for a lot of us, she's going to be a unit. If you really want to pull the most value out of her, she's going to need to be max. If we were to kind of gauge like how much investment per skill, I feel like the first skill is going to need to be maxed 1,000%. Everybody's going to want that decrease in speed. There's no reason why you wouldn't want that. So people are absolutely going to max that. Skill 2, absolutely maxing that. Like that's a 5 as well. So 5/5 so far. And I would say 5/5/5 personally. I think she's going to be a max unit. I would say you may get away with not going all the way on the skill 3 because, cooldown reduction, there's other ways to kind of manipulate that, but definitely like increasing everything else is just going to make her work more seamlessly. That duration increase is huge, increasing the effect of her overall passive. The damage of her AoEs are huge. And really, like I said, that turn meter manipulation is just going to be so insane. So I feel like, yeah, this is definitely going to be a unit that you blast resources into. Now, I know they just did an update that just changed her passive stuff that she gets from dupes. I mean, again, with what she has effect accuracy and effect res. So, I mean, dupe chasing on her, I think you don't really need to. I mean, unless, again, obviously you're trying to climb higher in like certain elos and PvP. But I think just base copy starting out is more than enough. And even when we're looking at investment, which the irony is her speed. And this is why I said I felt like the skill 1 was the most important because it's directly affecting her unique effect. It has the speed in it. It's kind of already telling you where the value is, right? So you're absolutely going to want that. Now, yeah, that's that. 5/5/5. Yeah, right? So let's go to Hizuki. I feel like, again, Hizuki, lower like interval unit. For a lot of us, we've been just sitting on evolution ladders. I know I have. So I'm maxing her regardless, but let's actually see like what's required, right? So starting off with the skill 1, Shadow Return. Don't get distracted. Hizuki Mari deals 2 hits of 120% damage to a single enemy, with the final hit having a 40% chance to reduce the target's turn meter by 25%. All of this is going to be reduction to 40%, reduction to turn meter, increase to turn meter to 25%. So, I mean, to be honest, that's just going to make her a little bit more consistent on that turn meter pushback, which 25% is going to be good in like the RTA. Like PvE, there's a lot of things that will mitigate it outside of like some of the shell bosses, but in PvP, that's going to be pretty huge. And that's one of the places they were kind of emphasizing. So being able to have that like more consistent chance of pushback and 25% at that is going to be nice. The skill 2 is going to be Sphere. So let's play something more thrilling. Hizuki Mari provides an aura effect. All units on the field gain 30% attack increase. Healing effects are additionally reduced by 30% and allies can no longer receive attack up. Now, the thing is that it has a different effect depending on where you're at. So Hizuki Mari is present and alive, and this is the sphere effect. Provides an aura that increases 30% for all units on the field, and additionally reducing healing by 30% field-wide. Allied Animuses can no longer be granted attack up. The field-wide attack increase effect does not apply to enemy units in PvE mode. This is specific to PvP. So, with that being the case, that means that the only thing that will actually be applied will be the additional reduction to healing, which is still really good, right? Now, this on top of all of that, right, is basically going to have at level 2, the attack effect increases 25%. So that must mean it's at like 15% or 20% beforehand. So it's probably 15. And then level 3 is additional healing reduction increase to 25%. So that means it's probably at like 20%, right? Then you have the level 4, which increases the attack to 30%. At least the effect of it increase to 30%. And then the level 5 will increase the healing reduction effect to 30%. I feel like, again, to be honest, like to get the most out of this, the healing reduction, they're so smart to put that at the bottom because that's the biggest thing, right? Because if you're in PvE, you can't actually utilize the attack effect. So you kind of have to max the skill if you're going to actually get any of the effect really, or at least the highest potency of it. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely going to be a skill that you have to max out as well. And then the burst Tamari. So let me show you a real Tamari ball skill. Hizuki Mari strikes with her Tamari ball. It just kind of reminds me of that chick from what's the name of that freaking show with the samurais and everybody was dying. And everybody was crying. Demon Slayer. It just reminds me of one of those demons from Demon Slayer with that ball. But it goes to say that was just a side note, but it deals to it's a 500 or 150% damage to all enemies. The first attack has a 100% chance to apply a res down for 2 turns, and the final hit has a 60% chance to apply Petrify for 1 turn. Now, of course, with that Petrify chance is going to be the biggest thing that you're really trying to pull out of this character's kit. Level 3 definitely required. Resistance down, application chance increased to 100% and reduced skill cooldown. It's a 5. I would say that this is a maxed out unit. 1,000%. I think both of these units, considering they are LD, both are going to be max units. I think the thing that's different though is that like Hizuki has a little bit more emphasis with one of her gimmicks in PvP, whereas like I feel like Plume is just gonna be busted everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of that, I guess. I feel like even if we were to look here, like the skill 1 definitely being like one of the more predominant investments for that turn meter consistently. Speed is in that skill 1. Definitely will say that like from what it looks like though, I feel like more people will have a better chance of building up her up fully than they would Plume, obviously, because that's requiring perfect lattices. But I think that, yeah, Petrify is going to be huge. That's going to be so huge, even in a lot of PvE content later down the line. Anasync Echoes, like just locking characters, they can't get cooldowns. That's going to be nuts. And then being able to reduce the healing is what's going to make her even more impactful, I feel like, in PvE content. So I think her value is still pretty high in both. It's just that attack effect does not work in PvE, which I think is okay, right? So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about Plume and both Hizuki. I feel like they both are going to be fairly game-changing personally. I think that they are, slightly higher investments, but I will say I think that they are going to be very, very impactful to the game. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.